Greetings, Healthy Voice listeners. Thank you for pressing play and deciding to spend some time with me. So, I wanted to give a little update on how things are going with the new My Body, My Voice theme that started up in my Healthy Voice community. I've also extended it to my Substack. And so, throughout the whole month of April, you will see articles every Tuesday and Thursday on the theme of body meets voice. So this week, I put out an article about the digestive system and the voice, as well as the psoas muscle. And the psoas muscle was really the one that inspired this whole theme, because I've been reading a book by Liz Koch about the psoas, and it's pretty remarkable. It's something that I've always intuitively felt like something's going on down there. Like whenever something shocking happens, I can feel a flash of sensation in that area. And I didn't know it was the psoas muscle until I started reading this book. And I was like, man, it is amazing to me how sensitive our bodies actually are. Not everybody is fully aware of this. Some people are way more sensitive than others. And I want to just empathize with you for a second if you're one of them. This is a very challenging existence when you have a very sensitive body. I know this. I have a very sensitive body. And for most of my youth, I was living in a state of hypervigilance. And this caused a lot of chronic tension in my back, in my neck. I had headaches all the time. Oh my God. I remember going to doctors, just constantly begging them for some kind of advice that would work, and nobody knew anything. And eventually, if you're somebody with headaches and you're the kind of person who goes and researches everything, you also know that a lot of doctors they don't like dealing with headache patients. And it's not because they're bad people, it's because they don't know the answers. And they get so frustrated themselves because nothing they suggest ever helps. And I still find headaches to be quite a mystery, but I do think that my own personal headache history has been as a result of chronic tension and stress that manifests into physical holding patterns that put pressure on the muscles in my head area, and it's a whole thing. But I wanted to give you some behind the scenes updates on what I've been noticing with my clients, with all of the body centric focused attention that I've been picking up on. Because here's the thing about being a teacher. When you are a teacher, you become a master student. And I say a master student because you already have a lot of information that you're able to communicate to people who are just starting out, or at least need more information to keep going. And so you know a lot of information already. You can explain it, but you're still a student. You're always a student, no matter what. I'm a student for the rest of my life. And teaching is the ultimate education, because the more I teach something, the more I start to master it. And so I've noticed that with every single month that has gone by. Every month has a particular theme. And throughout my career as a music teacher, which has been over 2 decades, I've felt like I've mastered certain concepts at times, but I've never had a period where there's one particular theme every single month. And so what I'm noticing is that during Resonance Month, I really grasped the concepts behind resonance more than ever before. When we did breath support, I learned things myself. Like, I didn't know what reverse phonation was until I did my first all levels breath support session in the community, and somebody asked me about reverse phonation. I was like, what is that? Turns out it's the name for when you use your voice on an inhale. And that's how it was communicated to me, which I found very confusing, as did everybody else. But when I looked it up, I realized, oh no, this is not confusing. I do this all the time. And instead of using the word inhale, I would say expansion. So whenever we breathe our torso, our abdomen, our rib cage, everything expands as the lungs fill up with air. And then as we expel that air, either just with an exhale or with our voice, everything in the torso contracts. And you can even take a moment and just notice this. You don't even have to try. Everything expands and everything contracts. And so what reverse phonation really is just becoming so aware of that movement. Like I'm doing it right now. I'm expanding as I'm talking to you. And then I'm going to continue to talk as I contract. And so it's like this, it sounds really fancy and it sounds really confusing, but it's not confusing once you master, all you need is an ability to pay attention to what your body is doing. And that's really all it is. And it takes practice to get more comfortable with that. But I feel like I mastered that during Breath Support Month. And so this month is still very new. It's only been 1 week, really, of my body, my voice. And I'm noticing in my own body, I'm noticing a deeper awareness between my voice and my body. And I feel like it's been incredible, actually. I feel more enjoyment in my voice than I did before. And I was already enjoying my voice, but now I feel even more. I feel more of the vibrations, not like as I'm speaking to you right now, I feel it not just in the roof of my mouth, but I feel it in my throat, which is weird because I never really noticed that before. But doing all of these guided visualizations with the community as I teach them how to scan their body to be aware of any sensation, any holding pattern, and then I guide them to use their breath to melt away the tension and to just notice everything in their body. A lot of us carry judgment, negative judgment about certain holding patterns. Like we get frustrated with our bodies. People who have chronic tension that won't go away will sometimes become very frustrated, like someone's poking at them, and you just get annoyed and you lash out or you snap at them. But you have to treat your chronic tension and your negative sensations as an annoying child. And an annoying child just needs to be gently told, that's bothering me. Please be more respectful. And then, teach them some boundaries. When it comes to your chronic tension, it just needs attention, really. It just needs awareness. It needs you to look at it. So, for example, here's how it's playing out in my life. Here's how it's influencing me. So like I said, I have a lifetime history of headaches. And last night, I woke up in the middle of a sleep at 3 a.m. or so, and I had this fiery, burning headache. And normally what I would do is I would get up and I would take some Advil, even though it's the only pharmaceutical drug I take because these headaches are so bad. And if I didn't do that, I would basically be like, it would be like a disability and I wouldn't be able to function and do all the work that I do. But I decided last night to take my own advice and just pay attention and be aware of the sensation of my headache. And it was a really interesting experience. I noticed the feeling of fire. That's what I kept feeling. I just kept feeling flames and sparks and going off in my head. And it was interesting because after a few moments, I noticed that my negative attachment, my frustration feeling melted away, and I just became curious. I just began to take on an explorer's mentality. And pretty soon I fell asleep. And then I woke up and the headache was not entirely gone, but it was very much in the very background. And once I got up and started going about my day, it completely went away. And so that was an interesting experience of taking my own advice. And that's what I mean by when you're a teacher, you get to practice mastering these concepts. And in my practice with other people, it's been a very interesting week as we touch on body and voice. This is the first week I've had a continuous pattern of emotional breakthroughs. I mean, clients cry in front of me. That's not an unusual thing, but it's unusual for me to have a whole week of people crying in my sessions. And I've been extra sensitive because of this work as well. And so I have cried watching them cry. And it's really been very interesting and moving and very rewarding too, because I know what's happening, because I've had these experiences so many times in my own life where something breaks through when it comes to this voice work, where you've been practicing for a while, you've been doing the toning sessions every day, and now you're starting to get comfortable enough to just relax into the process and you allow the work to happen. And so what happens is very much like what I've talked about in massage school, how I learned that sometimes as a therapist, you will touch a client's body and they will burst into tears and they don't know why, but you have just released something emotional that's been lodged into that part of their body for a long time. And the voice has the power to do the same thing. And so I think that's what's been happening this week. And it's interesting because it's only the first week. And we're going to keep talking about the body for the rest of the month. Every session will be about becoming more, it's really about body awareness more than anything. The voice is the body. And so as you become more aware of the entire body, your voice begins to expand and become more comfortable. And you then begin to walk with more ease. You then begin to feel more incentive to stand tall with your chin up and your shoulders back and your chest up. And what looks like confidence is just comfort and ease with your body, with your being. And that has a positive impact on your voice. So it's been a really great beginning to this month. And like I said, on my Substack, I have articles coming out every week, 2 a week, and I'm finally settling into a content schedule. I've been on a real high of content creation, and so I've been able to figure out how to schedule things out ahead of time and know what to put where. So now we have articles coming out Tuesdays and Thursdays, YouTube videos on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then I have the Voice Notes podcast will go out on Saturday mornings. I know a lot of you, or Saturday mornings on Pacific time. I know a lot of you are, you guys like to relax on the weekends. Fridays, not always a good time to listen to a podcast, but Saturday mornings, good time for you to listen while you're making your coffee. And then Sunday morning, my Frequency Notes newsletter goes out, which is a great source of information if you're not signed into that already, because the Frequency Notes newsletter compiles everything into one content piece. And so I write it so that it's a letter with just links sprinkled in. And so the whole newsletter will have one theme. And I also put in practice routines and journal prompts into the newsletter, as well as a section of what I'm reading, what I'm listening to, just for fun, and if you want some suggestions. And also, what else? Oh, and a preview of what's happening in the coming week of the Healthy Voice community, because every week I put out a game. It's like a game, these daily activities. This week has been so fun. It's been the comedy week. And so the theme was called Tap, 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 Is This Voice On? And every day I had a pre-written comedy bit, which I mean, I've had so much fun listening to people do these comedy bits in the voice messages. I laugh every single time. It's been awesome. It's been great for learning timing and pacing and pausing, being comfortable with silence. It's been awesome. Next week, we're going to do Romancing the Voice. It's about restoring the relationship with your voice, and it's going to have bits written in the style of a vintage romance novel. And then the week after that, I'm so excited about the next week that I almost switched it up. But I think Romancing the Voice is a good follow-up to comedy. But in 2 weeks, I'm going to have, I'm sorry, I'm recording this ahead of time. So this is out of date. I apologize. By the time I post this voice note, it will be the next week, which is going to be a punk rock inspired theme called Anarchy in the Voice Box. And I'm excited about this because this is going to be a fun way to get into projecting your voice, like really getting into your core muscles and learning how to express that anger, that frustration at the system or whatever, with healthy projection. And so we'll be engaging a lot of core muscles for that activity. So if that sounds cool to you, sign up for the Healthy Voice community. As I've mentioned before, prices go up in May 1st. And so if you want to get locked in to the current price, sign up now, because everybody who's in there, your prices do not go up. Okay. You will have your fee forever. You do not have fee increases. But anybody new will just get a slight fee increase, and no big deal. But if you've been thinking about joining, go ahead and join. It's so fun, you guys. Every month it gets better and better. And I love the live sessions. And I keep coming up with new ideas every month. And we're having a lot of fun in there. And people are getting better. They're improving their voices, and they're growing spiritually, and they're healing, and it's a good time. So check it out. There's also the Voice Liberation Method, the 7-week self-paced course. It's a very comprehensive Kickstarter to your healing voice journey. People are loving it. I've got hundreds of members who are doing the course, and I've gotten so much positive feedback, and I couldn't be more proud. And I'm starting to think about the second part to the Voice Liberation Method, which is going to be a shadow work theme, and it'll be just as comprehensive. But the music is going to be fun for me to make, because I love minor key signatures, which is like what you would, minor keys are the sounds of sad songs or darker music. And I personally love playing and composing in the minor keys. And so with the shadow work theme, it's going to be a great excuse for me to get into the studio and compose some music again, which I love doing, but I don't always have time because my main focus is teaching, which I love so much. So anyway, look out for that. As soon as I have an outline together and I feel like it's time to start producing that, I will launch a pre-sale just like I did for Voice Liberation Part 1. And so you guys really took advantage of that, and that was exciting. That was awesome. So I'll do the same thing for Part 2. All right, so I'm going to sign off here, and thank you for being here with me today and hanging out with me and letting me whisper in your ear. And if you'd like to continue the conversation, you can leave a comment either on YouTube or Substack. And as always, keep going. The world needs your unique voice more than ever, my friends. We got some serious stuff going on in the world, and the more people like you who heal and get confident and comfortable, speaking up with dignity, confidence, courage, the better off we're all going to be. So keep going, and I'll talk to you soon.